When setting up the frames on the schooner, it's really important when you're working with these curved shapes to have a datum, a reference, a line of reference that ensures that everything is being assembled correctly and in relation to each other. And so you have a centre line marked on the frames, on the cross spool that holds the frames together, and that can be levelled down to the centre of the keel, but also you have the waterline marked on the frames, and you can use a laser level set at the correct height of the waterline, and that enables you to level all the frames to the same waterline, and that reference relates to the waterline that was used for making the patterns to shape the frames on the loft floor. So you're taking the reference from the loft floor to the patterns to the frames, and then your laser level shoots through all of those frames at the same point, and you can then adjust the frames accordingly to line up with the laser level. The old methods of doing it would be to use to have a centre line, a string from the bow to the stern, and a plumb bob, and actually we tend to use a combination of these things. So for the initial setup, we might use the plumb bob, and then the laser levels, it's super accurate and easy and quick to read. So there's no time wasted waiting for the plumb bob to settle still, and it references the line more accurately on both sides of the frame rather than just in the centre of the frame.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
How's your dinghy going, Sam?
Yeah, making progress. We've first planks are fitting now, the garters, so that's pretty nice to see. Yeah, it's getting on. Surprised to see how thin the plywood can be for a little dinghy like this. So it's pretty nice that it can be this high. Yeah.
Okay, how's that?
A bit more away.
Like that?
A bit more towards me. Yeah, that's good.
See, I've cut these holes here which are to let any water that might get in, drain. They're called limber holes. It's really important when bolting together structural components on the boat that they are seated in some kind of bedding compound. This is bitumen mastic, and it's very good. It creates a watertight seal and helps to fill any very small gaps that might be between the wood and between the two pieces of wood, and it stops any fresh water sitting between the timbers and helps to prevent rot as well. I'm putting these bolts in. I've already offered this up and shaped everything to fit. This is actually the last floor in the boat, and it's sitting on the horn timber that overhangs the stern. It's got quite long sweeping arms on this one, but quite a narrow section of keel to bed to, and I'm using what are called drifts. So they're actually driven into the wood like a nail rather than bolted all the way through. The reason being that in that section of the boat there's if they were to come all the way through, they would hit the planking. So they go most of the way through the timber, and it's a really tight-fitting hole. So they're going to take some whacking in. Anyway, we've got the bedding compound on, so I'll go ahead and sit it on there and drive these drifts home. It's really solid now. All right.
What's next?
Well, I can, now that I've put this floor in place, I can cut the heels of the frames and then, and then get the frames clamped onto this floor. Same as all the others.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's like this. It's a second to last frame. It's the last floor, but it's a second to last frame. So the last frame actually will sit. It will come out on the transom here, and I think I'll be able to attach it to these timbers here. So it doesn't really need a floor. Do you want to take the clamps? But the space in which I've built the boat has worked really well. It's been nice to have the mezzanine at both ends of the boat, although we've had to make some small adaptation to the existing mezzanine. Luckily, we just enough room to fit the counter stern and the transom in there, but yeah, a bit of tweaking involved. This is in the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
But all in all, we've got a really nice working space at either end of the boat, and we've now built trestles and scaffold boards around, so it's all accessible now. I think that needs to come up a bit. Something like that. Yeah, let's just get the I've got to change the position of the level, and then. Yeah, it's looking good. That's the last floor in, second to last frames in, and they've worked out nice actually. They're all lining up on the laser. So it's sort of transferred from the loft floor into reality now, and all that careful, accurate marking out on the loft floor has paid off. It's pretty satisfying.
Cool.
It's not particularly dignified, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to taper it from the keel. This will be a bit thicker, 75 mil, and it'll end up here at the rail cap at 60 mil. So we'll scrap the line down as well. About here. Go a bit slower.
I know they want to be the other way up, don't they? Because they're narrower, yeah, they want to be the other way up. They want to be that way round. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep these ones full length, and the shorter ones. This will be our external laminate because it's got sapwood in it. All right, so this has got to be face out like that. Yep. And then we're going to go with these ones, or here. They all have to stack into each other.
We don't want glue on this side.
No glue on that side, yeah. How many sides? Should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So we'll start by taking that one out, I think, and marking on, and then I can get ready with the glue on this one. In order to laminate frames, you need to again to take patterns off the loft floor. Construct a laminating table, which in this case is a heavy sheet of plywood on a table base, and then to have blocks which you can bolt to the table, and you use the patterns taken from the loft floor to draw the line, the shape of the frame at each station, and the blocks are then laid out, bolted along the line that you've drawn from the pattern, and that creates a stable structure that you can then clamp the many glued laminates, firmly bend them to and clamp them in place, and then so the laminates need to be made, and they're cut from seasoned oak.
Go up and down first.
Very straight grain seasoned oak. We cut the laminates to an appropriate thickness that they will bend without too much force around the moulds, and they are laid up with resorcinol glue, which is a tried and tested glue, which has excellent adhesion with oak, and its curing time can be accelerated with heat to improve it and improve the cure and to speed up the cure time. is a very reliable glue. It has better gluing capacity than epoxy with hard, with very dense woods like oak, and it doesn't react with the acids in oak. So that's why we've chosen resorcinol. I've had a lot of success with it in the past. So once the glue is laid on the laminates, they are bunched together and bent firmly around the mould, and then a series of clamps are put on in place. And then once it's fully clamped up, we cover the mould with tarpaulins to trap the heat in, and we put heaters underneath to bring it up to a higher temperature, which aids the curing process. When the curing time is up, release the clamps, tap the formed frame off the moulds, and it's ready to clean up. And then once it's been cleaned up, put through the planer, then we can mark the bevels onto the bevel angles onto this. Essentially, it's a stock of timber that the final pattern, the final shape of the frame is marked onto the pattern. Bevels are marked, and then that can be cut through the bandsaw in the very same way that we cut the shapes and bevels of the grown frames. So some people might ask, why use laminated frames? So we started with sawn frames, and I decided to make laminated frames as well. The original design is for all steamed frames, which is it's a perfect material to use in North America, because there's American white oak, which grows very straight, brilliant steam bending timber. In the UK, the availability of good steam bending timber is in short supply, and it's much more normal to build boats with grown frames, or failing that, laminated frames. So I've had a stock of timber that was enough to do half of the part of the frames in grown frames, and we've decided to do on every station, intermediate station, we've decided to do laminated frames to make use of good seasoned straight grain timber that I have in stock. Laminated frames are extremely strong. The grain follows perfectly the curve of the timber. So if you use a suitable glue like resorcinol, it can be a very strong structural element. And my feeling about this boat is that, and with my experience of restoring boats, it's often the case that boats with steam bent frames, over time the frames crack and need sistering. Whereas grown frames and laminated frames are much stiffer and stronger and tend to last longer over time. So I like the idea of using the material that I've got, the suitable material to this country, but it also making the most of the advantage of that in building a stronger hull. I think that gives confidence confidence to the sailor, and that you know that your boat will stand up in any conditions. If it takes a knock, the frames won't suffer. But I've also decided to combine the use of sawn laminated and with intermediate steamed frames, So this is working within the Lloyd's Scantling's rules for the construction of wooden vessels. With the spacing of the sauna laminated frames that I have, it's important to have another structural member, but this can be a lot smaller because the main body of the strength is in the grown and laminated frames. So we've introduced a smaller steam frame. It's easier to get hold of and easier to steam these kind of smaller sections into the boat.